He's my best friend, my pal. He's my homeboy, my rotten soldier. He's my sweet cheese, my good time boy.
Hello everybody, welcome to Dex Gadgets. What we're doing this evening is installing wall tiles. So these are basically nice looking, but also sound absorbing panels. It adds some warm tones, some wood to a space, but it's not very intrusive. Sound will hit this and reflect off of these slats a little bit, and what does pass through is going to hit the absorption material. Without further ado, let's open one of these up. I like these. These are really simple. Honestly, when I bring this up to my face and I talk into it, my voice is not ringing as much, like it's being caught. So that's pretty cool. I'm not expecting these to do as much as proper, even DIY sound absorption, but if it does something and looks really nice, really we're just trying to take down some of the echo, some of the small room sounds. But it's just stapled through. It's MDF with a little bit of, I don't know if it's stain or they've dyed the MDF, so it's kind of a gray. And then we have a real wood veneer on the front here. Basically, sound will hit this and reflect off of these slats a little bit, but not sound like a solid wall. And then what does pass through is gonna hit the absorption material, go through, hit the wall, pass back through the absorption material. So it should hit it twice and get attenuated in that way. When I bring this kind of close to me, one side sounds like that, and the other side sounds like this. This side sounds a lot more dead to me, at least what I would expect to hear from my ears, but this side is a better balance. It's not totally dead sounding. Oh, sweet. Okay, so they gave me drywall screws. Awesome. Yeah, I guess we'll find in the instructions, hopefully. Where are the instructions? All right, we've got our instruction manual, which we need, honestly. That's a vague instruction manual, and then it skips the warranty. Like, it doesn't tell me any of the important things. These do come with edges that you can use to finish the pattern off. So ideally that would go up against the wall. Oh, they give you little felt dots to cover up the screw heads. Curtains need to go, shelf needs to move, and anything along the wall. Kind of an undertaking. This is me being brave. Also, please, anybody, if I go to drill in this area, yell at me. For fuck's sake, yell at me, please, if I don't check for power first. All right, here's nothing. You are a future Declan problem. All right. Yeah. The return of the evil cans. The last time I moved that shelf, I dropped like 8 cans. There goes the first can. These are super cool. Nobody's seen these before. These are Varipoles, and you could press them from floor to ceiling, or you could press them from wall to wall. And now you've got a really sturdy mounting surface. Let's find where these wires run. So this little stud finder, this is one from Harbor Freight, shows where the stud is with like a lot of lights, which is nice, but it also picks up on electrical wires. And here, it's right here. So kind of close to this seam. So that's telling me there's power here.
As you can imagine, there was a lot of back and forth, but what I found works was to check level on the ceiling and work from the lowest side of the ceiling so that the panels, when they move horizontally, cause the gap to the ceiling to get bigger and we don't run into the ceiling as we go across. I decided to start from the top because I wasn't sure if I was going to cut the last panels in the bottom row to fit the existing baseboard, or remove the baseboard and hope that the baseboards I plan to install later when I redo the floors would fit. I first put the panel flush to the wall after installing the end cap strip with some hot glue, and not only did I not leave a gap for the changes in the wall, but I also let it get crooked. What ended up working for me was to leave a 1/2 inch gap to the wall that I could later fill in with the black backing material as needed. To get that gap, I measured a panel width out from the wall and added a 1/2 inch. Then I drew a line with a long level that was perfectly plumb. This gave me a line to follow with the first row of panels, and this is a technique used in floor laying. So your floor reference is something you define and not just one wall that may not match the other walls. After getting this first row installed and using a screw in each corner of a panel, it was pretty smooth sailing. But I also made a modification to my panels for what I think is a cleaner look.
I think what they are designing in is that you're gonna see this felt gap between them. And on the bigger pictures, you can see it. So you can see the individual panels. They sell longer panels. I don't see why I can't just flush cut it and butt them up together and have it look reasonable. But now I have to figure out how the frick to do this.
Using a sharp box cutter blade, I found I was able to run from slat to slat and cut pretty cleanly.
Dude, that came out clean as fuck.
What I didn't think about was the material I was working with and how it had all these little synthetic fibers.
Man, it does cut nice.
I rubbed my eye and it started getting really itchy and irritated, and I realized that I was getting those fibers from trimming the pads in my eye.
I just pulled a 1/4 inch long piece of this felt material from my eye.
I tried rinsing it first. Eventually by looking around, I found the strand and I was able to pull out. There were actually 2. Should have been wearing eye protection or something. Yeah, don't get them in your eye. Eventually, I clued in and I realized I should have been treating this material like it was fiberglass and not some type of cloth. A dust mask, gloves, and eye protection would have all worked really well here. Cut, trim, align, zip, 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 zip. And so it went, avoiding the tape lines where we marked for the electrical earlier. With that first row placed perfectly, the rest was easy until we hit the outlet. I moved the shelf, shout out to locking caster wheels, and carefully removed the baseboard and any nails and glue on the wall. I measured thrice and used a multi-tool with a round blade to get the main cuts set, and then used a squared off blade to get into the corners. This is where I found the dark gray MDF behind the wood veneers is actually gray all the way through. And the result?
Somehow I added in a 1/2 inch.
Good enough, but I somehow measured too low. It might actually be worth giving yourself a 1/2 inch gap around outlets so larger plugs can fit past the panel. 2 rows left, and on the final row, I decided to trim down the middle of a slat to get as much width of the backing material as possible, so there would be less of a gap to fill in later. From there, I was able to reuse my cutoffs to stuff into the gaps, and ta-da!
We did it.
I love the look, and I even realized these panels would help reduce light spill in the room because they aren't a white reflective surface. I'd put up these panels again just for the looks, but they're also made to absorb sound. So how does it compare?
Freaking everywhere. It feels so much better in here. Holy shit. So, he's my best friend. He's my pal. He's my homeboy. My rotten soldier. He's my sweet cheese. My good time boy. He's my best friend. My pal. He's my homeboy. My rotten soldier. He's my sweet cheese. My good time boy. I hear some reverberation. We've only treated one wall, but it's so interesting. Behind me feels different. Feels more dead. The sound is not as active behind me, like guaranteed. That's impressive.